So this is just a quick update on some recent modifications we've had to make to the aquaponics system because of various reasons. Um, Firstly, because we're feeding them this sunflower press cake, which is here in my hand, when they eat this, they eat the majority of it, but there's these small little bits of it that the fish end up just spitting back out into the water, and it's not a huge problem, except that it's not a huge problem with the system that we originally had. Um, but with the GrowTech system, it uses these small little feeder hoses to feed water to each of the individual grow beds. And let's move some of this basil here. This is our Thai basil right now. It's kind of getting a little overgrown and some of it bolted, but it still seems to taste perfectly fine. So we're going to harvest it, cut it all back down, and see if we can grow some new cuttings and replace the larger plants with some smaller cuttings. So, anyways, each individual grow tray is filled by these two supply lines. If I pull one of these out for you, you'll see there's a very small diameter hose, and we've noticed that over time the small amounts of press cake get built up inside this manifold and end up clogging up these ports. And so stick that back up in there. They end up clogging the supply to the grow beds, and we've had whole rows of plants that end up just dying. On that end down there, you can see that third row in, that whole row is actually dead plants because both of the supply lines got clogged up. So we originally were coming in here every day and using this little, it's a surveyor's flag. We're using it to clean out the holes, sticking it through the top of the hose and pushing all the press cake back down into the tube, and it would free it up. But we were doing this about every day to every single one of the hoses, and it got a little bit overwhelming and unnecessary. So what we decided to do was we mounted this large kind of like purge valve on the end of the manifold, and we dropped the manifold a little bit. If you look up, it really slants down a lot here. So not so much that when we open this the water runs over the top of the press cake. It works kind of like a sewage pipe where we have it just off center, just off pitch, so that when the water comes down, it will bring most of the press cake with it, and then every couple of days we just purge out the whole line. I just changed the water out in the fish tank, so it's not going to be too dirty, but you'll see black sludge pour out of here. So we just do that every now and again, just pop that open, it purges the line. Then once clear water starts coming out, we just close it back up and let it go again. So here's some more of those dead plants that I was talking about before. You can see this run here ended up dying because of a clog in one of those, or both of those drain pipes, and so there wasn't enough water running down these things for all the plants. So we had some plant death there. We filled in a lot of those rows with new plants, and they've grown over. We're still working on switching all the plants out. The dump valve was just a recent modification. We haven't had time to switch all the plants over since fixing that problem. Another problem that we've been having is the original pump with this system was it's a 200 gallon per hour pump, but it didn't seem to actually run fast enough for some reason, so we decided to switch it out for a 400 gallon pump. Well, that works fantastic for us, getting us the amount of water and nutrients that we need to the plants, but when you increase the size of the input and the output is still that same small black little hose, we ran into a problem. So what we've had to do is kind of find the healthy medium. So what was going on was all the water would come down, it was going out too fast, and it wasn't going down the pipe, so it would overflow here, and we had to put a bucket there because it was just getting water all over the place. So what we decided to do was, on the input, we mounted a simple on-off switch, and so we just control the amount of water, and we've been running it about a half of the way off, maybe a little bit less, and it seems to be running fine. It seems to have reduced the flow of the water just enough to where it's at that level where it's the highest amount that the output can handle, but it's still more than it originally was with the 200 gallon per hour pump, so we do like that. We also, more on why we switched the pump over. The other pump was having problems pumping the water. We think it might have been due to the to the press cake waste and everything like that. It was one of these. This is the old pump here. It was a exterior pump. It wasn't a submersible pump, and with the inlet being so small and everything kept clogging it up. The smallest little roots that got in there would wrap around the impala and just clog it up. So we had a problem there. The pumps that we're using now are these 400 gallon per hour submersible pumps. They don't seem to care what goes through them. They pump everything. They're also not a shafted pump. They're not a shafted impella. They're floated on a magnet, and so if something gets stuck in there, it won't burn the pump out. We can also control the output by reducing the inflow of the water, and that doesn't seem to burn out the pump either because it's not actually a direct drive pump. So we do enjoy that. This lower sump tank, we have some cilantro being planted in these little cups. This other side here we've been using for rooting the Thai basil. We're trying to get this side a little bit cleaned up. It's a little bit disgusting. But such is the nature of a sump tank. So, quick update on the fish, because that's the part that everyone likes best. We have our fish in there. We have about 5 adults that are ready to come out. You can just see them. And then there's about a dozen babies in there now who are, they're about fingerlings. They're a couple inches long. So that'll be wonderful. They seem to be happy. They seem to be enjoying the press cake well enough. So, yeah, I'll give you guys an update when we harvest fish. I think that's the next step. We're going to try and figure out what to do with fish and Thai basil. So if you have any recipes, let me know. Thank you. Bye.